Hello and welcome to the Weekly Word. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, isn't it? And I suspect that you still have a lot left to do. This is Bruce Long and I'm standing in for Geddes this week. And today's Weekly Word is Love Came Down at Christmas. That love was a gift worth receiving, per John 3:16. We delight in giving our loved ones gifts throughout the year, but especially at Christmas. It's likely that our gift giving at Christmas has something to do with the birth of a helpless baby boy born to a young teenage mother over 2,000 years ago. If you were God the Father, would you have had your only begotten Son sleep on straw in a manger and wrapped in swaddling clothes? Well, that's exactly what God did. With the birth of Jesus, just as common babies at that time would be born. Jesus went from commanding angels and being worshiped by them to having the angels announce his earthly birth to the shepherds of sheep. Shepherds who were at the bottom rung of the ladder of those who worked for a living in those times. Jesus humbled himself from being a creator to clutching the finger of Mary. Why did he do this? Because that is what God's love does for us. That, in a nutshell, is the Christmas kind of love. God loved us and gave us the gift of Jesus the Messiah, and we, in turn, are asked to share God's love with others. As Jesus said in John 13:34, on his departure to heaven, "A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another as I have loved you." For us to give such love, we have to first receive God's love, as noted in 1 John 4:19, where it said, "We love him because he first loved us." For many people, this is the forgotten first step in a loving relationship with God through Jesus Christ. As Paul told the Ephesians in chapter 3, verse 17, and also tells us that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith, that you, being rooted and grounded in love, will know the love of Christ, that you may be filled with fullness of God. So how can we love God through Jesus Christ? Here are 4 simple steps to remember. First, loving God is a person's greatest decision. When you love God with all your heart, you receive 2 simple principles: love God and love others. Second, loving God means serving him. It's one thing to say you love God through Jesus, but the real test is a willingness to serve him in the church, in your home, and in your community. Third, loving God requires that we give him our life, our all. Remember that Jesus asked Peter 3 times if he loved him, even to the point of asking Peter, "Are you my friend?" Do you really love Jesus? Are you his friend? And fourth, loving God must guide everything that we do. Sometimes that becomes a problem, as was pointed out to the churches in the book of Revelation. Get into God's holy word and guard yourself against a weakening love of God. So 4 points. Love God, love others. Serve God in church, home, and community. The 3rd point, give your life to God, be his friend. And 4th, guard against a weakening of your love for God. In this season of giving, may you use God's gift of love in your life and act upon it as you love him, serve him, and love others. We should remember at Christmas and in our daily lives that God sent his Son, Jesus Christ, to give us the gift of love. As you receive that gift, remember that God's love for you is a gift worth giving to others with whom you come into contact. And may God bless you as you love Jesus and serve Him in our church, in your home, and in our community.